It's time we talk about needing men. As the conversation via my podcast has begun to evolve, and many of you lovely listeners have been chiming in via Instagram DMs, which if you follow me over on my Instagram at the Slumflower, you will see that I oftentimes post anonymously the DMs that you guys send me as part of the ongoing conversation. It usually ends up being that what happens is someone will send me a message on Instagram and it's not a dilemma. They're just sharing their opinion on something, or they might even say their thoughts about a podcast that I recently did. And then I will share their post anonymously. And then it sparks conversation. Other people respond to that story post. And next thing you know, for that whole day, we're talking about something. And so I found that recently the conversation has been moving in the direction of approaching men, this whole idea of the power move. And I think this all falls under the umbrella of needing men. The question of, do we need men? Especially when we tie feminism into this discussion. Anytime I discuss feminism, I always feel compelled to mention that there are a lot of people who, for their own reasons, don't consider me feminist. They are usually academic feminists, or they are the feminists who are very deeply enmeshed with the current struggle they're living in. And as a result, they see my ideas as purely capitalist and not rooted in any dismantling of oppressive structures. Which I find fascinating because, in my personal opinion, I do think that dismissing my ideas and diluting my work down to, oh, it's all capitalism is a very lazy observation. And I would implore you girls to do better than that. Especially if you have never ever tried any of the ideas I'm talking about pertaining to dating men for your own selfish needs rather than dating men through the lens of needing them. And this whole topic and talking point of needing men is very, very important when we discuss feminism, because the idea of feminism is the whole sentiment that we don't need men, we are independent, we can work and make our own money. Better yet, we can be independent and be in partnership with men. And in those partnerships with men, we will split bills with those men because we are empowered. And women like myself, we see those sentiments and we acknowledge that it was so revolutionary of the women who fought violently for the rights we now have to work for ourselves, to open our own bank accounts without having to be married or to seek the permission of a man. It was a revolutionary fight that was fought on our behalf for us to be able to exercise choice on who we're going to sleep with, how many people we're going to sleep with, deciding whether we want to be on contraception, or if we are living in the UK, the access to safe abortions. Unfortunately, cannot say the same for the States. But even though there are ideas about modern feminism that I deeply disagree with, I still identify as a feminist. I know that that's going to make someone really annoyed somewhere because they think that my ideology pushes the idea of needing men. And why they feel that way is because I do not ever discuss dating men without discussing money. And this conversation is going to be going in contradictory circles, not because I'm being contradictory, but because the nature of the pushback I receive is rooted in a contradiction in itself, especially when we talk about men and money. Now, as I mentioned earlier on, feminism has allowed us to be more independent with the ways that we make our money. Feminism has allowed us to be more empowered when it comes to finances and careers and work opportunities and moving in the direction of equality in the workplace. But where feminism has fallen short is where we discuss financially empowered women who date men for money. Financially empowered women who make their own money, save their money, and spend men's money instead. Financially empowered women who recognize that a man is not just here for romance and love. A man is here to be an accessory, an access point, and a form of leverage towards the life that you want. And the reason why some feminists might hear that and be in staunch disagreement with it is because the idea of partnering with a man who has more money than you leads to this idea of depending on him, needing him, being abused by him. And I really want to probe into that and tackle it head on, because whilst I wouldn't go as far as saying that the fear is rooted in something false and that people are just being ridiculous. No, I get where the fear comes from, because men are not very good people. I think whether you're a feminist who agrees with my stance or not, I think we can mutually agree that men are not very good people, because if men were good people, we wouldn't need feminism in the first place. But when we're talking about this idea of needing men, codependency, independence, and money, there is a conflation of concepts that we need to maybe spend some time clarifying. So, when I talk about dating men who have money, I am never dating from a place of desperation. I am never dating from a place of needing the money. I am never dating from a place of needing the man. I am dating from a place of living a life that I already love, and making sure that any man I welcome into my life is enabling the ease, the convenience, and the success happening in my life. So what does that mean? What does that look like, I wonder? Well, let me illustrate it for you. I am already an independent woman. Some might even say that I'm a successful woman. I would agree with those women, because my success comes from, or is measured by, or can be observed through certain indicators and markers of success in our society. I'm an accomplished, successful author with a Sunday Times #1 best-selling book. It's called What a Time to Be Alone. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it in Foyles. You can get it in Waterstones. You can get it in Barnes & Noble. You can listen to the audiobook on Audible, or if you're feeling real nasty, Spotify. Anyway, I'm accomplished as an author. I created a globally viral body confidence movement back in 2018 called #SaggyBoobsMatter, and that completely skyrocketed my profile. I am a public speaker who frequently gets invited to the world's most academically respected institutions. I'm talking Oxford, I'm talking Cambridge, honey. So I know what it is to be a successful woman, and I make my own money. Because I have garnered that much success for myself, that is the more reason why I would only be sharing myself with a man who is more successful than me. This is the part where the feminists start to wince and clutch their AliExpress pearls. Because they think that, oh, well, if you date a man who's got more money than you, then he's going to control you. I don't think you guys understand what I'm capable of. I know that I am a very pretty, innocent-looking, rather dainty woman. But I'll have you know, I'm the one who's doing the controlling, okay? If anybody is controlling anybody in this relationship, I promise you, I'm the one doing the controlling. And I can hear you disagree and be like, no, he's got more money. As long as the man's got the money, he's doing the controlling, because you want him for his money. So therefore, he knows that he can buy you off of his money. What's he buying? What's he buying? Is he buying my elbow? Is he buying my literal vagina as a cutout organ that he can just hold and use when he wants to, that's now detached from my body because he bought it? Is he slicing a circle at the top of my skull and taking my brain out and buying my brain? What is he buying? What is he claiming ownership over? Because how I navigate and see this in regards to the dynamics of being a feminist woman who dates men who have money is my time is valuable. We all spend money on what we consider valuable to us. For some people, them paying for a 5-week course to learn guitar is valuable enough for them to pay £500 up front for the course package. For other people, going to Lanzarote is valuable to them, so they'll pay for the villa they're going to stay in and the flight package because that's what it's required for them to get there, and they see it as worth it, so they'll pay whatever is demanded for the trip. For some people, going to watch a live jazz night at a swanky bar in central London is worth it to them, so they will pay whatever it costs for the fee to sit at the table and buy the drinks and enjoy the live music. Do you see where I'm going with this? So for me, my time is valuable. So any man who wants to spend time with me, and if he perceives from how I've expressed myself or how I've presented myself that my time is definitely valuable, he will pay whatever is asked of him. Now, the part where feminists feel uncomfortable is because what they visualize, because they've never experienced actually having standards that involve them asking men for things, they can't conceptualize it. So what they visualize when a woman like myself says that my time is valuable and men should pay me for my time, what they visualize is some sort of mechanical, robotic interaction where a man asks me, "Hello, beautiful Chidi. I want to spend 45 minutes with you. How much will that cost per minute?" "Hello, sir. That will be £4.50 per minute. So your total will be £4,500. Cash or card? Don't forget you will have to pay a 50% deposit up front. You can send it to my Revolut." Like, they think it's some sort of mechanical, transactional, soulless interaction where once the 45-minute timer goes ding, 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 that's it. I just get up mid-conversation and walk off because his time is up. The time he has rented is up. There is no humanity or mutual enjoyment in this dynamic. It's just robotic, and the man is purchasing me, and I am reluctantly giving myself up to him. That's what these feminists want to believe. And that's why they also hate sex work so much. It's all interlinked. It's all interlinked. You would think that feminists who believe in the freedom of women, the financial empowerment of women, and the ability for women to exercise the full breadth of their autonomy would be in support of sex workers. But what they do is they create a hostile environment, they create an unsafe environment, and they create an alienating environment for the same people that they are pretending to protect by trying to criminalize sex workers and further pile more stigma onto sex workers to essentially alienate them from society because they're jealous of sex workers. When the reality is, if you're alienating someone from society and you are pushing someone further and further out to the margins of the community they deserve to belong in, that person is unsafe. So you don't actually care about all women. You care about a world where you won't be feeling threatened by the women who have outsmarted the game that we are all thrust into by mere virtue of choosing to lay with men. Do you know that if you are choosing to date men, you have opted into a game? Whether you like playing games or not, you have opted into a game. So that's why this conversation from feminists talking about Slumflower's rhetoric. Someone decided to describe my feminism as sugar daddy feminism. I saw this the other day. Someone tagged me in a TikTok and I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Sugar daddy feminism is fascinating as a phrase. And this is what I mean by people flattening my work into a concept that is conflated with something completely else. And this is no hate to that person, because look, I believe that as young feminists, right, we all deserve to have our own opinions on things, and that extends to having opinions on how other people navigate their feminism. And it's good to get your practice in by using people like myself as a case study, because I'm a very fascinating spectacle of an individual. There are only one or two people like me that I can think about. And even when I think about those people, they're not doing what I'm doing. They're not doing it how I'm doing it. They don't have the multitude of layers that I have, and they don't have the range that I possess. And when I say the range I possess, I'm talking about the fact that I'm an author. I'm frequently invited to the world's most respected academic institutions to speak in debates. I shake ass on the pole on a random fucking Tuesday 'cause I want to. In a shiny thong, mind you. Yes. I'm a burlesque performer, which means I take my clothes off for applause and I twirl and tassel my titties in the spotlight. Rhinestones everywhere, 'cause I love it. I am also somebody who is very involved in the space of what I would call harm reduction. So whilst I don't work for any women's charities or position my work in that regard, my work contributes heavily to harm reduction. I speak to so many social workers and even therapists from around the world via my Instagram messages who tell me that they encourage women to read my books, to listen to my podcasts, and the women that they're encouraging to consume my work are women who have either survived abuse or are enduring abuse. And my work plays a huge role in educating those women in a very accessible and easy to understand way on not only how to get out of it, but how to begin again and maintain a momentum for yourself that will allow you to never be in that situation again. And even if you do end up in a situation similar, you now have the tools to identify it quicker and get out of there quicker. That's incredible work. So for people to reduce my work to sugar daddy feminism, I just think that's really fascinating. But look, I get it. I think for some people, because they've never lived the experience of actually dating men from a place of doing this completely your way and reaping selfish benefits, they don't understand how to conceptualize this work as actually radical. People have argued that my work is not radical, not revolutionary. That's fine. But I think it is fucking badass, it is fucking radical, and it is fucking revolutionary as a woman to flip the game on its head and play to win. The girls who argue that my work is sugar daddy feminism claim that I'm not dismantling anything and that I'm still partaking in a game, and therefore by partaking in this game I am reinforcing patriarchal ideas. And the patriarchal ideas they're talking about that I'm reinforcing leads back to the initial point I was making of people accusing my ideas of, if you're dating men for money, then that means you're still relying on men. If you're seeing men as people who can give you money, then you're pushing this patriarchal idea that men are going to have more power than you. Girl, whatever happened to redistribution of wealth? I thought we was all on the idea of redistribution of wealth. I thought we all wanted reparations. Guys, do you really think that someone's going to push this big, red, shiny, benevolent button And once that big red shiny benevolent button is pushed, we are all automatically going to receive financial remuneration for all we have endured under the patriarchy and racism. Or do you think what's going to happen is we're going to have to just take our power by ourselves where we can? Get it how you get it. Because look, if people are going to call my work Sugar Daddy Feminism, I embrace it. I think that's kind of iconic. I might need to make that into a t-shirt. If you see me wearing a t-shirt that says Sugar Daddy Feminism, then you know what's up in it. I think that eats so hard. Sugar Daddy Feminism. That's fire. That fucking slaps. Do you know why? Because, first of all, I believe strongly that when people don't know how to do something, they demonize it. When people don't know how to do something, they overcomplicate it. When people don't know how to do something, they mystify it on purpose so that it makes the person who is pushing this idea look ridiculous and unrealistic. But the beautiful thing about my work is that it's all results based. If you are new to following my podcast, or if you're new to discovering me and you're curious about the results people have gotten from applying my ideas, I have got a highlight on my Instagram at the Slumflower. And when you go to my profile, there's a pinned highlight that says testimonials. When you have a tap through that highlight of saved stories, there are many screenshots I've taken of anonymized messages women have sent me where they've said things along the lines of, "Hey Chidera," in fact, I might even read one out to you, but I get all these anonymized messages from women saying things like, "Oh, hey Chidera, since I've been following your work, I now got a house in my name." And I'm like, period. Exactly. "Hey Chidera, since I've been following your work, the man who was wasting my time has been dumped and now I've replaced him with someone else." Okay, I'm going to read one. This one says, "Hey Chidera, long-time listener and fan. I've been following your advice and it has paid off immensely. My guy just bought me a Benz and put it in my name. I wanted to tell you because I knew you'd be happy for me and hopefully feel gratified knowing your content reaches far and wide and is helping women more than you know. I had to share with you because I'm timid to share with women in my life because I think they might get jealous. I tell them to listen to you and they don't, so it's their own fault. Thank you. Love and hugs to you. I'll always support you." Period. Talking about, oh, this is it's Sugar Daddy Feminism. This is not radical or revolutionary. I think it's very radical and revolutionary to be a woman who chooses to date the group of people who oppress you. You flip it on its head and you get assets in your name out of that man because he loves you. It's radical as fuck. When a man says he loves you, you tell him, bet, show me how much you love me. And he puts property in your name. He puts assets in your name. He puts financial safety and security in your name. That's revolutionary as fuck. Sorry, girl. Another one. Someone said, "I bought your ebook and I've been asking for exactly what I want and deserve lately and came home from a trip to a beautiful gift." And in this message, the person has sent me a picture of a brand new Louis Vuitton handbag and a Louis Vuitton purse as well. And then after she sent me that picture of the gift, she said, "We do deserve it all." That's what I'm saying, girlie. That's what I'm saying. And I always save these messages because for me, it's also important to be reminded that when people are trying to talk shit about me and dismiss the importance of my work, I have my proof that my work is in fact creating actual tangible change in women's lives. So when people try to dismiss and dilute it as something that is so far from what I'm doing, I can only laugh and I can only encourage them to just try it out. Have you tried it out? Have you tried it out? Because I'm never the kind of person that's going to encourage a woman to, make the first move. The only times when I make the first move, is, let's say I'm in a networking event. The purpose of a networking event is to speak to people. When I'm networking in a room full of men, I'm going to use flirting in a way that is very smart and strategic, because my beauty is an advantage that I will use to leverage. Yes, it's a gift I've got. Gifts should be used or they'll be taken away. Another thing as well is, I never ever encourage women to put themselves in any kind of danger. I think people so badly want to believe that my work is, oh, you are encouraging young girls to put themselves in dangerous situations by telling them they should date rich men. Do you know what's actually dangerous for young girls? Encouraging young girls to be stay-at-home mothers. Do you know what's dangerous for women? Encouraging young girls to date broke men. Do you know what's dangerous for women? Encouraging young girls to choose love over lifestyle. Let me tell you why those three things are dangerous. It's dangerous to encourage women to pursue the idea of being a stay-at-home mum, because, first of all, if you're a stay-at-home mum, then there's already this implied framework that the man is making all the money. You're not employed in any way whatsoever. You're miserable being the primary caretaker for all these children. And we know, listen, I've spent enough time around small children who I love dearly, dearly, to know that this is not something that you can do and still preserve your mental health by staying alone at home with them all day, every day while the man's at work. Sorry, I'm not doing that. If I'm a stay-at-home mum, I'm staying at home with the nanny as well. I'm going to be in the other room doing my hobbies, taking a well-needed break. Sorry, what the hell? But it is very damaging to encourage young girls to pursue this idea of, be a stay-at-home mum. Because what happens is, okay, you're a stay-at-home mum for 10 years. You've not worked in all those 10 years. So you've not taken on any skills in those 10 years. The skills you have are skills pertaining to motherhood, right? But how transferable and how recognized are those skills when after 10 years of being at home, you decide that you want to seek employment, you got a 10-year gap in your CV and you don't have any skills that are valued in the workplace because you were not encouraged to make something of yourself whilst being a mother. You didn't marry into an environment where there was so much money that you could afford to hire help if you needed to. You could afford to pay for a course you can do from home. You could afford to vacation where you need to. You could afford therapy. You could afford Pilates. You could afford any kind of thing that will allow you to regulate yourself. You couldn't afford that. But you married for love and you married for stay at home, Abby. But that's what the girls are being encouraged to do. That is way more damaging. That is way more damaging than anything I could tell a young woman to do along the lines of, if you're going to date a man, don't date a silly broke boy. Date a boy who has got prospects going for him. I've always said, if you're listening to this podcast and you are under 25 years old, I would never encourage you to date as seriously as the girls who are 25 and above. The reason why I say that is because you need to allocate yourself a buffer period of doing all the things you're not meant to do within safe reason. Doing all the things that I would say that you probably shouldn't do so that you can get it out of your system. What are those things? Date a really, really, really good looking boy who's probably better looking than you so that you can see why that doesn't work. Date a broke boy who has all the sweet nothings and promises for you so you can see why that doesn't work. What else are people doing to waste their time? Yeah, date a rapper, struggling rapper. Or even a rapper that's doing well so you can see why that does not work. Do all those things before you cross over the other side of 25. Because you need that time to make those mistakes. You need that time to really see why that shit don't work. Because once you've done it before, you won't be walking around with that existing curiosity following you around when you're a little bit older and thinking, I might risk it all because I've never tried it, and you never know. No, you do know because you tried it. You know that shit don't work. Now, for those who are 25 and above, those are the people who I really am speaking directly to with this podcast. Because from 25 and up, and this is not about this whole idea of like, you're going to be geriatric in 10 years time and you don't have time because your eggs are going to dry up. No. This ain't about anything to do with fertility. This is about collagen, youth, time. And I'm not even talking about collagen purely from the like aesthetic vanity purpose. I'm talking about the mobility aspect, like the collagen that exists between your joints. When you are younger, you have more physical dexterity to do cool, wacky, fun shit. Okay? You have all the time to be on a bender, a 72-hour bender of partying and, oh my God, this really cool, fun guy I'm dating, he paid for me and my friends to go to this place and we had all the fun. You got all these fun stories you're going to tell one day to your kids or your nieces and nephews or the young people in your life who you're going to be watching over or looking after. Like, you got a hella life to live, girl. Okay? But when you're 25 and above, you're thinking for your future because the frontal lobe has now developed, right? Which means you cannot afford to be thinking like you've got all the time in the world to throw away. You have to be thinking along the lines of, what do I want my life to look in 10 years' time when I'm 35 years old? Or if you're listening to this and you're already 35, what do I want my life to look like when I'm 45 years old? Because as someone who, at the time I'm saying this, I'm 29. And the following month, I'm going to be turning 30. But as a 29-year-old, I am already thinking for the life I'm going to be living when I'm in my 40s. I know exactly what I want my life to look like. I know what it's going to cost to get there. I know what it's going to be required. I know what kind of man will facilitate that. So I'm reverse engineering it, meaning if this is the outcome I want, then what kind of people am I even giving my attention to? And I do not be wasting no time. I don't waste no kind of time, girl. I like to quickly find out if a man's got it or not. Let me tell you what happened literally yesterday. Yesterday, I went to Soho House because I'm a member at Soho House, right? And I was meeting with one of my dominatrix homegirls. We were sat there together for, I kid you not, like 3 hours. Lovely chat. How Soho House works is the members have an app that we all have to use to like make payments, to sign into the building. But when you're on the premises, especially when you're at Shoreditch House, it notifies everybody that you're there. So when you go to the homepage, you can see every single person's profile who is in the building right now. So for example, if there's someone that you've seen sitting 3 tables away from you and they seem interesting to you, or they might look familiar, or you want to just talk to them, but you don't want to go and interrupt them or, you know, spoil their vibe, you can actually click on the list of members that are visible or who are present in the house right now, and you can find their profile. So occasionally that happens where I'm at Shoreditch House and I've noticed this guy's been looking at me, but he's not come up to speak to me. And then later on the app, I'll get a message, because Soho House app anything's a dating app. Because I'm telling you, men will shoot their shot wherever a shot can be shot. These men are treating the Soho House app as a dating app, just so you lot know. So usually these guys will see me. If they find me attractive, they'll add me. And if I accept their request, then they start messaging me saying, oh, I saw you yesterday. You looked really beautiful. Yada, yada, yada. So the same thing happened yesterday. I was minding my business. I wasn't even dressed like I'm trying to be seen, you know? Like, I had no makeup on. I just had on leggings and a black long sleeve top. Like, it was a very simple kind of day for me. I was just engrossed in the energy of my beautiful friend who I was sat with for 3 hours. I get home and I noticed that this guy has added me as connect on Soho House. So I look for his profile. I'm like, okay, he looks cool. I click on his Instagram and I see he's an artist, multidisciplinary artist. Here we fucking go. I don't have time. I actually don't have time for these multidisciplinary artist men, you know. Seriously. Like, but I looked through his credentials and he looked like he was doing good for himself. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm gonna accept his request. And then I'm gonna just like send him a message. So I said to him, hey, what drew you to my profile? And he didn't even waste no time. He said, you've got cheeky energy. I like it. And you're doing interesting stuff. Can't wait to look more into it. So basically, your personality. I hope you had a good day. So I said, where did you come across my cheeky energy? I'm intrigued to know how much you know about me so far. You seem like you've paid good attention. So at this point, I'm like, because he's a white guy. And he's a classic good-looking white guy, long hair. Like, oh, here we go. I've been there. I've done that. Okay? But I know that because of how I dress, how I look, I attract. It's interesting, right? I attract white men just as much as I attract black men, but I think that I attract those two groups for very different reasons. I attract black men because of how my body looks, but the black men who are attracted to me, most times they haven't heard me speak before. They don't know what I am capable of intellectually. So the attraction is surface level. And then when they realize that I have self-worth and I know how to advocate for myself, the attraction disappears and that's done and dusted. But with white men, what's interesting is I think that there's an added layer of them liking me for my, like, dare I describe myself as alternative looking? I feel like some sort of Gen Z is going to throw a Capri Sun at my head for calling myself alternative. But I do have more of an alternative appearance because of the tattoos and because of my hairstyles and, you know. Anyway, let me get back into this conversation. So the last thing I said to him in response to him saying, I hope you had a good day, is, where did you come across my cheeky energy? I'm intrigued to know how much you know about me so far. You seem like you've paid good attention. He said, well, I believe I saw you at Soho House today. I should have come and said hi, but I wasn't sure if that would be inappropriate, etc. So I checked if you logged into the Soho House app, and here we are. I believe I'm good at sensing good feminine energies. Usually it gets me in trouble though, laughing emoji. Anyway, you seem like a very interesting person. So he's really just flirting with me at this point. He didn't even try and pretend to do up networking. He wants to be all up in there. As he should. So I said to him, what would you have said to me if you felt brave enough to approach me today at Shoreditch House? He said, I would come and say that you attract me and that I want to be attracted even more. Ooh, okay. Well, I said to him, well, in response, I would have told you I'm only attracted to men who are ready to serve me. Goddess Juna has entered the chat. He said I could do whatever you'd ask me to. Here we go. Now, this is the part where men always shoot themselves in the foot. Because I like to lay this trap for men because it's a quick way to catch them out. When I say to men, I'm only attracted to men who are ready to serve me, they always take it to a sexual place. Like in their head, they perceive that sexually. They think what I'm saying is, I'm only attracted to men who are ready to eat my pussy. That's not what I said. I said I'm only attracted to men who are ready to serve me. So he got very excited and he was like, I could do whatever you ask me to. Whatever I ask you to? Are you sure about that? Be careful what you wish for. So I said to him, well, we would have to see. Serving me is a luxury only few can afford. So he said, so if you were to try my services, what would you ask me to do for you? Again, at this point, I know that his mind is in a sexual place. He is not ready for what I'm about to say to him. And when I say what I'm about to say to men, I always say it knowing that there's a 50-50 chance this could go either way. He's either going to be down with it or he's going to be like, I don't like that. But I say it anyway. I don't care how good looking a man is. I don't care how much my type he appears to be. If he fails this particular test, he's failed the test. On to the next. So when he said to me, so if you were to try my services, what would you ask me to do for you? I said, devotion to me begins with honoring me with a gift. If you're ready to do so, I'll be happy to send you a link. You must be wondering what he said at this point. I mean, it's pretty predictable. He said, right, I must say, I'm interested more in psycho-emotional BDSM dynamics, but let me have a think. So I said to him, good luck finding what you're looking for. He said, thank you, Chidera. And that was done. Talking about, I'm interested in psycho-emotional BDSM. You're interested in trying to get into my mind. You're interested in me giving you free kink. You see me as a kink vending machine because I've used dog whistle words like, I'm only attracted to men who want to serve me. His mind has gone to sexual serving. That's why when a man tells you that he's into BDSM, he needs to be into sending you money. Psycho-emotional BDSM dynamics just means I want to get into your head, and even though you're a dominant woman, I want to top you from the bottom. I'm into psycho-emotional BDSM dynamics means I don't have money, but I want to press your breast. My friend, if you don't find something safe to go and do, get out of here. And that's how you do it. You see? See how quick and easy that was? You see how I avoided being in an abusive relationship just from that interaction alone? If you know what to ask men, they can show you who they are with quickness. And the reason I said I avoided an abusive relationship with that brief interaction is because a man who said he's into psycho-emotional BDSM already I know he's abusive and manipulative, because there's no man that is, I really, really enjoy emotions. Which man that enjoys emotions? Girl, come on, it's a straight man. It's a straight man. Psycho-emotional BDSM. What the fuck is psycho-emotional BDSM? You want to psychologically and emotionally engage in power dynamics with me. I'm not your mate. I don't do psycho-emotional BDSM anything. No, I do financial BDSM. Yes. That's what I do. So get out. And I know you artists don't be making that much money anyway, but you see how I ate that? Do you see how I quickly assessed him and I quickly got the rubbish out of the way? But according to the feminists, this is sugar daddy feminism, right? Yeah. Because if I was following the ideology that these scaredy cat modern feminist girlies want to push, yeah, then what I would have done was I'll let him talk my ear off. I'll let him tell me all these pleasant, sweet nothings about how beautiful he finds me. But because I'm a nice girl, a nice anti-capitalist good girl, I'm not going to ask him to put his money where his mouth is. I'm going to let him do psycho-emotional BDSM on me. I'm going to just hand my power away to this white guy. Is everybody okay? So that's why it's important to ask men for money. You don't have to directly say, I want £500. You say, I like a man who is ready to devote himself to me, and devotion begins in my bank account. Men know what that means. If he hasn't got it, he will step to the side respectfully. Because it could be argued by the feminist girlies who don't like my work. Oh, but yeah, even if a man gives you money, he can still be abusive. Yes. That's because a man is abusive if he wants to be abusive, regardless of where he is financially in his life. Which proves the point I'm making, that because men have a propensity to be abusive, they all have equal capacity to be abusive. You need to make it worth it for you, because he's going to piss you off anyway. The rich ones will piss you off, the broke ones will piss you off. But I promise you, golly gee, you will feel way better about the time you wasted if you got something tangible to show for it. Especially these guys who think they can use their status and achievements to bamboozle you. You cannot trick me. I was not born yesterday. I didn't grow these breasts just yesterday. I've had these breasts for a while. Yeah, I'm a grown woman. I'm into psycho-emotional BDSM. Shut up. Just say you're broke and you ain't got it. That's how men will try and top you from the bottom. So my work is rooted entirely in the foundations of harm reduction. That's why I demand money from men. Because men will use everything to try and trick you out of your spot. They will tell you, oh, I'll do anything for you. This one that I just finished reading the interaction with, when I said to him, I'm attracted to men who want to serve me. Oh, I'll do anything to serve you, but you won't send me money. So you've already lied. You see? Within the first few message exchanges, I've caught him in a lie. Within only a few messages exchanged, I've seen him for what he is. Because I'm daring enough to ask him for shit. And I don't care how it goes. I don't care whether it works out or it doesn't. Because I don't know this man from anywhere. How do I know he's not a rapist? How do I know he's not an abuser? How do I know he's not a thief? How do I know? How do I know? You lot be giving men benefit of doubt. The key word is benefits. A benefit should be earned. I don't give a fuck about, as a feminist, it's fair chance for all. No. You being fair to these men is you shooting yourself in the foot. It's a man at the end of the day. No amount of niceness and playing equal with men has worked. So why are you still doing what doesn't work? I don't understand it. Girls be saying, I want to be an independent woman. Yes. I can hold my own head up by myself. Yes. I can change my own diaper by myself. Yes. I can feed myself. Yes, I'm an independent woman. Yes. Because I don't hear women saying, I want to date an independent man. Because the independence is implied. Why do we suddenly assume this idea that a woman is infantilizing herself by dating a man who's helping her? Sorry, what did Rishi Sunak say? He said, eat out to help out. You have to eat me out to help me out. Yes. And not only do you need to eat me out to help me out, I want to eat in nice places. And you need to help me out financially. Eat out to help out. Eat me out and help me out. Eat my pussy and help my bank account grow. That's all I need from you as a man. And it's not even a need. It's a requirement if you want to come into my life. Because my organs are functioning very fine without me having my pussy eaten. So the show definitely does go on. So this whole idea of you're not independent if a man's paying your bills. Goofy. That don't make any sense. What's the man there for? What's the man there for? You're making your own money. A man comes into the picture. He fancies you. He adores you. He's got more money than you. He wants to support you. You're still making your own money whether he adores you or not. So now that this man's come into the picture, you're making your own money. Now you're saving your own money that you're making and you're spending his money on what you would have spent your money on. So now your money is growing and he's also giving you money. So your money is growing and he's giving you money. So your money is growing and multiplying. I don't see how you can lose from doing that. Just say you're scared, you don't know how to ask for anything, and you're jealous of women who are brave enough to take the risk of receiving rejection. Just say that, rather than trying to academically position you shooting own goals as you being morally superior to the girls who have clocked that the game is the game and you got to play to win, because men are players. That's what this is, girl. Because the reality is, what are men needed for? Because these same feminists who are like, I'm independent, I'm sexually empowered. That's interesting. You're sexually empowered, but you need men for orgasms. Ooh. So you do need men. But you're accusing the girls who are spending men's money and not even fucking them. You're accusing us of needing men because we know what to do with their money. But you're the ones who are sleeping with men because you need orgasm, because you can't even make an orgasm by yourself, because you have avoided the responsibility of learning your own body. You have avoided the work of forming an attraction to yourself, and you only experience pleasure when a man gives it to you. And you want to come for us talking about we need men. You lot are the ones who need men. And on top of that, you're splitting bills. I know a bill splitter when I see one. I know what you are. You can't trick me. Any person who has an issue with my work, I know what you are. I know you're splitting bills and you feel embarrassed about it. You should be embarrassed about it. And you know what? Embarrassment is not the worst feeling in the world. Embarrassment is the feeling you get before you settle into shame. But it doesn't have to reach shame. Embarrassment can motivate you to realize this doesn't need to be my life, you know. Truth say I can do better for myself. Let me come and be going. Yeah? If you're splitting bills with a man and you're letting him have sex with you, and you're calling yourself empowered because you're the one who's initiating the sex. I'm getting what I want. You know, if the orgasm is what you want, you can get that yourself. I'm just saying. Because the issue that I take with this whole idea of I'm sexually empowered, therefore I'm going to let men have their way. Boo. Girl, don't be doing that for free. I don't care if all he's doing is eating you out and you're not touching his dick at all. He's getting something out of that. I promise you. I promise you. As a dominatrix, I can categorically tell you. I can tell you that for free. You're shooting an own goal by doing that. Do not let a man hit for free. Don't do that to yourself. What is he doing to make your life better? That's the least he can be doing. Orgasm is not making your life better. It's a brief chemical distraction from how you already feel about yourself. So if you know how to use your own resources to create the orgasm, that's now where I can say you actually are independent. But if you are having sex with men and you're calling it empowerment because you're getting what you want to get the orgasm from him, you're not independent because you still need him for the orgasm. So to the feminist girlies who are trying to come for me talking about if you're dating men who have money, you're not independent, you're relying on them. Who is relying? Who is relying? Relying on what, my dear? Wait till you find out that we're not even dating just one man with money. We're dating 2, 3 even if we're feeling real nasty. If you're dating 3 men, you physically cannot even allocate enough time to rely on anybody but yourself. There's nothing to rely on. You're rotating them. As you should, because you're a beautiful woman and that's your power. Use your power. Use it while you have it. Just say you don't know how to do it. And that's okay, because that's what this podcast is all about. That's what my work is for. I don't use academic jargon. I don't try and use all these big pretentious words to try and make my point sound stronger. I speak in basic South London English. Anybody who wants to hear it will hear it. It's easy to apply and it's easy to understand. I believe that if you are good at what you do, if you know what you're talking about, you don't need to use academic jargon and big fluffy words to make the point stand. That's why my work is successful. That's why it creates results, because it's easy to apply. The hardest bit about it is overcoming the fear of rejection. The fear of someone saying no to you. What you need to understand is that if you haven't asked him for it, or if you haven't demanded it, or if you haven't expected it from him and he hasn't delivered it, technically he's already said no to you. So you're already living in the result of the no. You not having it is the no already. So if he says no, that doesn't change the reality you're already living in. You just got the no in confirmation. But if he says yes, ooh, what a pleasant surprise. What do we do with this now? Oh, have you ever explored that? No, you haven't, because you're scared. So if left for the academic feminists who are calling my work sugar daddy feminism, what we should be doing is dating broke men and splitting bills, Abby. Please do shed light. I would like to learn. What do you lot say that we do? What should we do? What should we do? You said that it's capitalism to only date men who can financially bring value to your life. Okay, sorry, ma. What should we do? We should date men and split who are broke and split bills with them, innit? Yeah? Okay. Well, you do what you want to do with the bill splitting, and I'll do what I want to do with dating men selfishly. And in 10 years' time, let's compare notes. Yeah? Should we do that? Cool. I'll see you in 10 years. I can't wait to see what your life looks like, because boy, have I got news for you. Best of luck, because you're going to need it. But yeah, it's this whole idea, right? Which I actually agree with these girls who don't like my work. The ones who call it sugar daddy feminism. They believe that rich men won't come and rescue you. I completely agree. No man's going to rescue you. That's why you need to specifically outsource men for what you need them for in your life. You need to know exactly why a man is in your life. No man is going to rescue you. No. But he can make your journey easier with what he has. And his fondness for you is what will inspire his desire to make that journey as smooth as possible for you. That's how it works. If a man loves you, he'll open his wallet. If a man loves you, he'll give you everything he has. I know that doesn't sound nice, because a lot of women have been taught to believe that if a man loves you, he would say it and he'll give you hugs. Are you 15? Are you a teenager who has no concept of what it means to be a woman who has to survive in a world that's already built by men against her? What are you doing with I love you and I like your breasts? What are you doing with that? What are you doing with that? A man is not going to rescue you. No. The idea of thinking a man could rescue you that's hilarious. No, baby, we're not doing that. We're not looking at these men as saviors. We're looking at these men as, when you're in the airport, there is a horizontal conveyor belt type of thing you can walk on. It's not an escalator that goes up, but it's just flat on the floor. And when you walk onto it, it just speeds up your walking. That's all it does. That's what men are. They are a conveyor belt in the direction of where you want to go. They just speed up the journey a little bit. That's it. They're not saviors. No. But if you want a man to be your savior briefly, they can be that for you too. Granted that you're not relying entirely on them. This was never about relying on anybody. We don't rely on men for orgasms. We make our own orgasms. And if we want to get an orgasm from a man, we make sure that he understands how lucky he is. And he's had to really put in work to get that. And he's had to show you in pounds or whatever currency suits you how desperate and ready he is to please you. Yeah? We're not needing men for orgasms. We're not needing men for savior from our solitude. No, because we love our lives around here. We love our lives so much that we would only welcome what's going to accentuate and improve and benefit it. We're not dating men for the sake of, I want to have companionship. Which one is companionship? Do you not have friends? Do you not have friends? If you're looking for companionship, if that's deeply what you want, why would you go to a man for that? These are people who will see you grieving the death of someone and still trying to use that vulnerability as an opportunity to sleep with you. So you need to really be honest with yourself about what it is that you want, because we know it's not companionship. We know that you're not independent. We know that you're calling yourself independent because that makes you feel better about splitting bills with men, because that's the best you can do. We know that you're not independent because you rely on men for orgasms. You can't even make your own orgasm. So you need men more than the women you're accusing of needing men, who are spending men's money and flying around the world and do what they want with that money and starting businesses and putting that money into investments and owning assets. You think we're the ones who need men, when the reality is you guys need men so much that you're willing to compromise and split bills with them. That's really sad. What a sad little life, Jane. So yes, I agree. A rich man won't come and save you. No, of course not. But he can make your life easier. So you have the choice. And I know what I'm going to be choosing. Anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, thank you for listening. As always, I would encourage you, if you're feeling real nasty, to join my Patreon. Did you know I have a Patreon? Patreon.com/theslumflower. Over there, I share bonus episodes. Yes, I share lots of long form written pieces where I dive deeper into some ideas. There's a very popping fire ass group chat over there of girlies who are all on the same wavelength of wanting better for their lives. They're comparing notes. They're sharing their wins. It's amazing over there. I also share the occasional, I've introduced this thing called like mini voice notes, voice bites. It's like 10 minutes long, where I just muse on topics that have recently happened that I think could bring more context to the overall thing we're discussing here of being disobedient deviants. Yes, we're women who know our worth and we act on it, and we're willing to do whatever it takes to see our own happy endings in a way that does not compromise on our safety, our freedom, and our financial well-being. Yes. And of course, I've got workshops on there as well for you to enjoy, plus a 65-page guide on whether you should keep or leave that guy. And that is called the Dilemma Manual. That is free for anybody who is a member. So if you are curious and would like to become a disobedient deviant, patreon.com/theslumflower. Anyway, have a beautiful day wherever you are listening to this. And as always, I will catch you in the next episode.